What's up? How's everything, guys? I'm Queen and I decided to upload my videos every Tuesday and I will call it Qsday Case. So every Tuesday I'm here to you to talk about a true crime story. If you like Korea, chismis, and crime cases, you are just in the right channel. You know Billy Syrian, guys, who's doing Murder, Mystery, and Makeup Monday? I am just her fan. So her theme song is just always on my head. And come on, if I have Billy Syrian fanatic here, let's sing it. Like like Billy Syrian, guys, I'm gonna do a backstory about this killer today because I was able to dig up something. Especially I'm curious that how did he end up killing like this way? How did they get to that point of killing? Is there something wrong? Like, yeah, I'm just so curious and I just want to know. So, last week we were able to talk about the Hwasan killer, Ichungjae, and that's gross, that's sad, that's tragic. And today we're gonna talk about another gross story. We're gonna talk about Yoo Yeong-cheol, aka the murder machine, aka the Raincoat Killer. So he was born with a twin sister on April 18, 1970 at Mapo, Seoul. And this is the area behind the Mapo Seoul station where in these days it's already under development, yeah, because it's in Seoul. And also two older brothers. His grandma quote that Yeong-cheol's mom actually don't want to give birth to the twins because of their poverty. And they are living in a single room, so Yoo Yeong-cheol's mom just want to give up them, and that Yoo Yeong-cheol has been a burden to their life before. Talking about their father, Yeong-cheol's dad is actually an alcoholic because his dad were a soldier and fought the Vietnam War before, so I think that's because of the trauma, that's why he's been an alcoholic. And also his dad uses violence to his wife and also arrested once, which reason I could not research. I also found out, guys, from their neighborhood testimonies that Yeong-cheol's dad had a love affair. You know, imagine Yeong-cheol's father who is having a hard time to make ends meet and then still have a gut to have a love affair. You know, one good thing in this love affair is that I heard Yeong-cheol was raised by his stepmother since he was 3 or 4 years old, along with his siblings, except his twin sister because his twin sister just stayed with their birth mother. So when Yeong-cheol already entered elementary school in 1978, he was kind of bullied because of his lunch box. Also, sources said that Yeong-cheol also did not talk about their family, and most especially he hated the part of asking about his father. Plus, his mother never came to their school. So in other words, I think Yeong-cheol just don't have, you know, support group because his family is just so busy earning money. In the early 1980s, most of the elementary students were poor and Yeong-cheol is one of them. So when Yeong-cheol was an adult, his friend actually described Yeong-cheol as a lousy and a quiet child. However, he was good at cleaning and good enough to replace his friend's cleaning duty. His friend added that he is feeling lousy or just not a talker because of the ambience in their house or in their home. Alcoholic father, his older brother are not taking care of him, and worst is his mom also did not welcome him if he came back home. And the only moment that he felt special is when his teacher appreciate him from cleaning. Now, based from the teacher's story, Yeong-cheol was her one of the favorite student because Yeong-cheol sometimes volunteered to clean up the room and organize the room, and that she also remembered how bright is the smile of Yeong-cheol whenever he received a compliment from the teacher. So I just feel pity on the young Yeong-cheol because I think he only wanted attention and recognition, which his family did not show him. His homeroom teacher also said, guys, that Yeong-cheol likes dissecting frogs and catching rats with a tongue. And there was a time actually wherein Yeong-cheol found a frog on a stream, and without hesitation he just grabbed it and twisted the neck and opened the stomach and did a surgery or dissect it. I think in that kind of age, you're scared in doing that kind of thing. Now let's talk about his middle school life in 1984. At this time, his father actually died from the car. He hit by the car from jaywalking, and that they went back to their birth mother's house, because that time, you remembered, I was talking that they were raised by their stepmother. So yeah, when their father died, they come back to their birth mother's house. In middle school time, he organized a group called Fall Tree with his friends. Sometimes they gathered together and sang pop songs. The time, that means Yeong-cheol developed this kind of leadership. And here's the curveball, guys, because his friend, one of his classmates, said that when they went to a Siwon shopping center to buy an LP record, Yeong-cheol actually stole one. To their surprise of his friends, they actually asked, "Why did you do that?" Yeong-cheol's answer is just so crazy, because he said, "It's an illegal copy anyway, so why don't you steal it? This is not a theft." His classmate said that he was reigning over them with violence. Now it came to the point, guys, that Yeong-cheol's violence is just so serious. Like, there was a time in their PE class, he saw a teacher scolding a student. So when Yeong-cheol saw that, he middled and pushed the teacher away and punched the student until it knocked down. So his student just all gasped, like, what the I think his behavior started to off the track a little bit there. Fast forward on his junior high school time, he had a strong obsession with women and had a great confidence. Wait, I'm thirsty. Oh. You hear that? I'm actually have this Chanyeon cider. It's like a Sprite in Philippines. Let me have one gulp. Yeong-cheol's story just make me thirsty. So he even revealed his thoughts to his classmates that every pretty woman he wanted will be his anytime. Not to mention, guys, this murder machine is actually tall, dark, and handsome. Yeah, he's really handsome killer. He even painted a portrait, guys, of every crushes he had. And yeah, this is interesting because Yeong-cheol's art is actually nice. Like, he really have a talent. His fine sketch is quite interesting because, study reveals common traits of psychopaths killer are actually artistic, and Yeong-cheol is one of them. So since he is like a kind of teenager these days, sources said that he neglected study already and just so busy with his life drawing cartoons, playing sports, and going to the pok-pok bar. Puberty hit. And that's the reason why he could not pass an exam and just settled on some technical schools, which grades are not important, just skills. In June 1988, he is in Juvenile Detention Center in 2 years for stealing. And after being released in juvenile, after 2 years, he met his wife, Miss Hwang, in 1990. So he's 20 years old that time. And the two actually lived normally and had a son in 1992. So during his married life, he's actually working in a construction site, driving heavy equipment. But actually, he don't have a driver's license. He only, again, steal the driver's license from his friend. That's why he was able to get that job. And sometimes, this is creepy, because sometimes he is just so proud, bragging to his colleagues that, hey, I stole the money, I guess he's been doing a theft as a hobby, right? So in 1993, that's my birthday, he was sentenced to 8 months for theft again. In 1995, he served in prison for violating the law on video recording. And in 1998, forgery of official documents and theft again. He's a regular customer in prison. Sources said that Yeong-cheol's wife is just so tired of visiting Yeong-cheol in prison and just afraid that their son might grow up whose dad is an ex-convict, and she wants to cut off the relationship. But just Yeong-cheol's mother hold back that kind of decision. So in March 2000, Yeong-cheol was arrested again on charges of raping a 15-year-old prostitute working in the brothel. In 2002, his wife finally filed a divorce, and she asked also the court to deprive Yeong-cheol from the right to meet his son. And because of this, Yeong-cheol burned his hostility toward his wife. He was angry about this because, he was just so affectionate to his family. Even his attitude is like this. Now, he was released from prison on September 11, 2003. And take note, this is the time or beginning of a full-scale murder. Okay guys, murder case na tayo. So, yeah. Yoo Yeong-cheol. Okay. a.k.a. murder machine, Raincoat Killer. Victim's profile and motive, resentment towards the rich people and prostitute. So, when he was released, he actually planned of killing his son and his wife, but after seeing his son, that is very adorable, and wife from drinking a beer with a piece of laver, he didn't give up his plan and settled on killing other people. First target actually was rich people because he can't just accept the reality of the gap between rich and poor, so that's why he targeted rich old man. A police officer interviewed him, "Why didn't you kill your wife when you were released from the prison?" He answered, "A mother is essential for her son to grow up, so I did not kill my wife. If I kill her, I will be suspected. I am not stupid." Smart cookie. Now, the sergeant of a scientific investigation department of the National Police Agency said the dual nature of the murderers is that they value their lives and their family lives. Like Ted Bundy, you know that guy? Yeah, he's kind of like this guy. And so the first murder was around 10 p.m. on September 24 of 2003. He crossed the wall behind the Somang Church in Shinsadong, Gangnam, Seoul, and entered the main room after confirming that no one was on the second floor. Mr. Lee, 73 years old, and his wife, 68 years old, were in the living room. At first, he stabbed Mr. Lee once in the neck with a knife, and when he collapsed, he hit the wife's head several times with a hammer and killed her. And then he hit Mr. Lee's head again until he killed him. So that's 2 victims. Now, second murder was a family in Gugidong, Seoul at around 10:40 p.m. on October 9, 2003 near the Yeonggwang Church. So along with Mrs. Lee, 60 years old, who got out from the car, he crossed the fence and broke into their 2-story house in the entrance. In the first floor, he killed Mrs. Kang, the grandma, which is 85 years old, and her daughter, Mrs. Lee, 60 years old, bludgeoned with a hammer. Then he went up to the second floor and killed the son, which is 35 years old, who had autism symptoms, with a knife, and then took him to the hallway on the second floor and struck his head by a hammer to kill him. So that's 5 total victims. Now, next is October 16, 2003 at around 12:30 near the Happiness Church in Samsongdong, Gangnam, Seoul. He crossed the wall and invaded the house of Mrs. Yoo Jun-hee, 69 years old, still struck by a hammer, and took her to the bathroom. She was discovered by her son at around 1:30 and was taken to the Samsung Medical Center in Seoul, but died from head injury around 2 p.m. Next was on November 18, 2003, around 11 o'clock at Haewadong, Seoul, near Haewa Cathedral. First, he saw the housekeeper, Miss Bae, 57 years old, with a child. So he went into the main room and hit Mr. Kim 87 years old, who was lying in his bedroom with a blunt weapon first. After that, Miss Bay was holding the child, hit the head with a blunt weapon, and came out to the living room with the child. The child kept crying and Yeong-cheol wrapped it tightly in a blanket. Total 8 victims. And by early December 2003, guys, actually Yeong-cheol was caught by a CCTV footage from Mr. Kim's vicinity in Hyewadong, and so the police distributed 10,000 copies of them on. It was a copy of a man who was wearing a buffalo shoes, and yeah, the smart cookie threw him away when he knew about this. On December 11 of 2003, Yeong-cheol actually met a girlfriend and they actually had a good relationship. First, because that time his girlfriend did not know about his dark past. But when the time Yeong-cheol's girlfriend was able to find out his dark past, that he's an ex-convict and a divorced man, he cut relationship with Yeong-cheol. They actually have a big argument, and Yeong-cheol actually planned to kill his girlfriend from that kind of argument thing, because that triggered him. But he just did not. And so instead of ending the life of his girlfriend, he just settled on, bursting his vengeance to other people who are escorts. After wealthy people, now his targets are escorts. Now, on March 15, 2004, he called an escort from a service company and told her to meet him in front of a shopping mall since it's just near to his apartment. And so there she was locked up. And on the next morning, when the woman tried to run away, he grabbed her hair, took her to the bathroom, suffocated her, cut her using a jackknife and a hacksaw, put her in a black bag and dumped her on a hiking trail. Between April and mid-May of 2004, she called again the escort company, which sources said that he is only calling same company. So he met the woman in front of the theater, took her in his hideout again, and then took her to the bathroom. In the bathroom, he knocked her head out and cut her head with a jackknife again and dumped it near a construction site. Enumerate, guys. Actually, he did this to the rest of his victim, doing the same method. And so the escort service company was alarmed about their missing ladies. So they searched the phone numbers who called their escort and discovered that the caller was the same person. Now, for the last time, Mr. Yoo called again the service company to request the woman. But this time, they tipped off the police because they thought this guy could be, the culprit. And so they sent a bait, which is the escort and also the taxi driver. So around 4 a.m., the escort got off the taxi and called Yeong-cheol that, hey, I'm here already. And she was told that look around you and make sure that nobody is following you. But he does not know that police officers just waited nearby the alley. So about 10 minutes later, guys, Yoo Yeong-cheol appeared in the alley and then the police finally captured him. But something ridiculous went up, guys. I can't believe this. Because when he was being investigated, he persuaded somehow the investigators to uncuff him. You know how? By confessing that he killed 11 people whom he buried secretly and asked them to go to the burial place with him. So he outsmarted the policeman and boom! He just escaped. But of course, thank God, he was caught again later by a detective of the Mobile Investigation Unit. So to wrap up this story, guys, he confessed to his 20 murders and claimed to have killed 6 other people and eaten the livers of some of his victims. But this has never been proven, guys, like his cannibalism. So he was apprehended on July 15, 2004, and on December 13, 2004, he was sentenced to death. His case actually, guys, which was greatly dismayed by South Koreans, has fueled the debate on the capital punishment. Although the death penalty is still permissible under law, it has not been carried out since 1997. But support for the death penalty has grown since the arrest of Mr. Yoo. And the Seoul Central District court said, murders of as many as 20 people are unprecedented in the nation and a very serious crime. And the death penalty is inevitable for you in light of the enormous pains inflicted on the families concerned and the entire society. Tagam! According to some criminal psychology professor, Professor Lee, who assessed this case, said that Yeong-cheol might have suffered a crisis of self-identity and seems that he missed the opportunity to grow up as a normal adult since he grew up under a stepmother, a birth mother, and a father who can't do better. Psychology professor also said that he might be developing a childhood syndrome, which is often serious among children who grew up in broken families. FYI guys, in 2008, director Na Hong-jin turned this case into a film with the title of The Chaser and succeeded into a box hit. That's really nice, guys. So what do you think, guys? Is he a man with the heart of a beast? Was his bizarre murders really from his childhood memories? Or just his nature? So that's all for the murder case today, and I'll see you in the next Qsday Case. Bye!